Hello, dear friends, and welcome to my channel, Art and Cocktails. I'm Kat, artist and founder of Create Magazine, Art Queens, and overall compulsive creator. Just can't stop making things. I wanted to catch up over a little matcha latte with you today and give you a little personal update on what I've been up to. So a few weeks ago now, time flies, I recorded a video about how I'm improving my small business to help heal my burnout and resting after numerous exhibitions from New York, Chicago, California, and my last one is a little group show in Menorca, Spain. And I'm so grateful for each and every one of those opportunities. And I just want to say thank you to my galleries and everyone who's made it possible. But a few months ago, I just knew I couldn't keep going at this pace. And one of the ways that I found out why I couldn't keep going is because when I got into my studio, which is a place that I love. I'm obsessed with this building. I love Philly. I love that I can bring my dog here. I have everything that I could ever possibly want and need from this space, except for the commute. That's the only downside. But other than that, I absolutely adore being here. And I knew that one day when I walked in and I just was not excited, not just about creating, because obviously we have bad days. We don't feel like making art. We get tired, we need a break, or we just, whatever reason, the stars don't align and things don't work out. But this was different. I could not look forward to the future. I couldn't think about my summer. I couldn't think about my favorite season in the fall. And I just kept getting more anxious because the way I would think about my future, I would think about all the other things that I had potentially booked and all the deadlines and projects. And it just felt like there was no end in sight and I potentially could never get a break. And so I made a really difficult decision to kind of a lot of things and just be honest and say, hey, I'm not able to keep going. As much as I want to be a person of integrity and complete the deadlines that I have and commitments that I've made, sometimes your mental health just has to come first because you want to be able to do this for the rest of your life, not just for a season. We don't want to burn out bright and quickly like a flash in the pan. I don't know about you, but I want to stretch out and take the pressure off timeline so that I can create and really listen to my intuition, to my creative soul, to see what I'm trying to say and what's supposed to come through me. So I made the decision, I made some tough calls, and I let people know. And I celebrated a fantastic opening in Chicago. Huge shout out to Very Serious Gallery, and my dear friend and former client Sarah Glupker came out, and a few other people from the community. From Colossal came, the big art blog, which I love and I'm such a fan of. It was such an honor. A lot of amazing things happened. You can read the feature. I'll include it in the show notes for you if you want to read the article that Chris and Grace wrote on Colossal. So overall, it was a huge success. I met new collector, waiting for an apocalypse or a complete breakdown before we rest or give ourselves space or honor that maybe our soul is tired or brain or body is weary, especially those of you with little ones, or maybe you're battling a chronic illness. There's a lot of factors that can contribute to our exhaustion. And so I just want to talk about this a little bit more personally because to me, over the years, especially since becoming an entrepreneur and learning that there are truly unlimited ways to make money, one of the most healing things for me has been taking the pressure off my art to solely support me. Now, does that mean I don't like art sales and I don't want to sell my work because it's a way to connect with a client? No, I absolutely love that. That's still one of my favorite experiences, and I absolutely love when someone understands and appreciates what I create. Like, else would an artist want? But also, older I get, I'm in my mid-30s now, I realize too that art needs space. And it's a cliche to say this, but we're not factories. And as much as we want to keep going and keep creating and having many shows, I think it's so important to give yourself at least a little break. Now, I also want to say everyone is completely different. So for example, I just had my friend Tanya on the podcast and I uploaded the video and it's on Art and Cocktails podcast. And Tanya loves deadlines. So I'm not saying that we're all designed the same way. Some people thrive off pressure and deadlines and it fuels them, it excites them, they like something to look forward to. I sometimes can be like that, but overall I learned that it's really important for me to give myself some space periodically. One, to make work without any agenda. So work that may not sell or work that I don't even want to show anyone. Two, get kind of this productivity, capitalistic lifestyle where you're constantly checking boxes, producing, how many things did you make this month? And It's ironic because I'm actually someone who paints every single day, but 99% of what I make, I don't show. It goes nowhere. It stays in my sketchbook, or I recycle it. I just have like a compulsive need to doodle or sketch or make something. It's just who I am, and I've always been this way since I was little. But it's a completely different thing to enjoy yourself or practicing your craft and putting an idea that you have out of the blue on canvas, paper, sculpture, collage. And the opposite of that is constantly forcing yourself to produce masterpieces, exhibition-worthy imagery, and so on. And this can be this is probably the hardest thing about being an artist, juggling those two things, the need for freedom, the need for play, and also this need for validation and professionalism that so many of us have. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that need, because I will certainly tell you there's going to come a day in a few months or years that I'm going to want to have a show. And I want that moment to be where I had something to say. I worked on my craft. I really spent time with my art. I showed up at the studio and I let things happen. I made a mess. I made a ton of mistakes. And through that mess, the gems, the wisdom, the interesting new imagery, interesting new ideas, techniques, whatever, visual vocabulary emerges. And this is probably something that happens as you get older, because I think when I was younger, I just wanted shows, sales, publications, like way I can feel supported. It would excite me and fuel me. And now, because I think part of it is a little bit of a privilege, I will admit, like I think because I had so many exhibitions internationally, I'm so grateful. And you can too, if that's a goal of yours. I literally wrote down my goals a few years ago and I said, like, this is what I want to do. I would love to show my work in Paris, London, New York. Like, I wrote that down and a lot of those things actually came true. So that's a different topic that I believe I covered before in previous videos. So feel free to go down a rabbit hole or listen to the podcast. But I think once you experience that and it's exciting and it's happy and you feel great, you feel very validated, you also learn how precious it is to have space for your art and for yourself, right? Because if you're always on call, if you're always on the move, if you're always having deadlines hovering over you, it creates a lot of anxiety and unrest. And when we're in that state of anxiety or fight or flight, or system is hyperactive, it's very hard to be creative and come up with something new. It's very hard to pressure yourself into your best new idea. And so I'll tell you when I get my best ideas. And I don't know if you guys can relate, let me know in the comments. But for me, I get my best ideas when I'm out running, in nature, walking the dog, in the shower. So basically doing things where I'm not numbing, I'm just existing. And when we allow ourselves to just be, whether it's through a meditative motion like running, swimming, walking, or just laying down and looking up at the sky, or taking a shower, taking a bath, and like not just yourself with sounds and information, then you can actually listen to your thoughts and your intuition and your ideas will come. That's actually so funny because a lot of my podcasts I'll be in the middle of a run and I'll get an idea for an essay I want to write for my new Substack, and I'll just quickly stop and put it in my Evernote app. And pretty much how I do it. So the need for silence, the need for space is so precious. And I know when you're a younger artist or you're an emerging artist and you don't yet have a lot of opportunities, you're like, Kat, no one's seeing my work. Like, why would I want that? But trust me, you will get success. You will get tons of opportunities. And I think with age, it's not that we shouldn't have opportunities, especially if you're someone who's interested in working with galleries and being celebrated in that way and collaborating with different partners. There's nothing wrong with that, but I think it's just when I was younger, I would say yes to like everything, everyone. But now that I'm older, I realize the value of having space between opportunities and also having space to make my own work just for me. And it's funny because none of my galleries will ever say like, you should make that, make this, like give suggestions. But overall, I feel free, but still it's this deeply embedded need to please, in me at least, that really prevents me from experimenting and saying something honest and saying something real. So what am I doing now? Well, I just got back from vacation. I had the pleasure of staying at a really cool Victorian house, which I'm going to be painting from painting students. And I'm going to include the link to my painting class waitlist for you. And I'm also just taking time to recover my body. I got very sick after my show. I was traveling. I was like wrapping, shipping. It was a lot of stuff while managing two businesses basically, because I run Create Magazine and Art Queens, to still find time for my health and my partner and my dog. And it pays a toll. I got very sick. I had a sore throat. It felt like I was swallowing razors. I was like, this needs to stop. And then I started to feel better after kind of swimming in the ocean, having the salt water, like all my organs. I was like just to the sea for a whole week. I painting outside. I painted the ocean at sunrise and sunset. I toasted. I had a little champagne toast to my future success. Just resting and like finding the next big thing. And then something magical happened, you guys. I just started writing. I just started getting all these ideas and I couldn't stop writing. And I would just wake up at 5 or 6 in the morning. I would take my notebook outside and I would write. And I started uploading some of it to my Substack, so I'll include that in the show notes as well. And things are just like pouring out. And I think that's so I'm super grateful for this creative wave, even though, painting a lot this year. Don't get me wrong. I've been in the studio like every day and I painted so much for all my shows and I'm grateful for that. But I'm more like interested in sketching, plein air. I'm doing some demos for my painting students and just getting outside and writing. I think there's so many thoughts that I had during these busy times that they finally just need a place to come out. And I'm so grateful for Substack because it's so funny. I always journal and write, but it actually feels really good to share it with people because I think connection is one of my higher values. And when someone reads a blog post, even if it's just nonsense brain vomit that I put on there, and they just like leave art or comment, it makes me so happy. And what I've been writing about is a little bit of my story, like art memories that are resurfacing at random, some of my childhood funny, silly experiences, works about me. And I want to write some more serious things as well. But just romanticizing life. Like I go to the farmer's market and I want to write about it. I was just looking around this studio building that I'm in and like being grateful for this space and the stories that it holds and the good energy and the amazing artists that we have in it. Like one of my favorite artists, Martha Rich, is just down on the basement level of the building. And it's so cool to just be in this creative energy all together, even if I'm not going to be here as much over the summer. And just walking and running, committing to 15 minutes of yoga every day, training the gym, learning how to swim, continuing. I know sort of how to swim, but I've been like really to learn this summer. And enjoying reading, redecorating my apartment, deep cleaning. Like yesterday, I a bunch of windows. I know this all sounds so silly, but it's so healing to me. And I feel excited. Like I wake up and I make coffee and I'm like, let's write, let's clean, I had a bar cart that I ordered from Amazon in January. This is embarrassing, but I was so busy with all these shows that I haven't had a chance to put it together. So tomorrow or tonight even, I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna go grocery shopping and I'm gonna put together this bar cart and make it super cozy with like vintage glasses that I found on Etsy and a few bottles that Sean has of whiskey and scotch and stuff like that. Just it looks really nice and we don't drink a lot, but it's something cute for the home. And kind of moving my art collection around, potentially getting more art, and it just feels really, really good. And if you're scared to rest, know this, especially for entrepreneurs. It's like, I know there's many ways to make money. A lot of them don't have to have you be on live, such as commissions or direct sales or like live delivered product. Like you can recorded things, you can sell ebooks, you can sell merch. So there's so many ways to support yourself. And I was freaking out last week because I was just done with my show, and even if everything sells, I get paid for a few months for that. And I'm like, I just don't have the energy to sell and to put myself out there right now. So I'm like, I needed to honor that week at the beach. Like I could not, even I have some big bills coming up. Obviously, I'm still running a business. I have to pay my contractors and all the apps that we use. You'd be surprised. It's a village. But I was like, I need to take space. And I told the universe, God, I was like, listen, you know how tired I am. Like, I'm very scared because I know I need to do my part. I need to keep growing my business, but I also really need a break. Do you support me? Do you me? And I cried. I freaked out a few days. I was like, oh my God. Because the thing that I was doing before I left on vacation just didn't land. Because I kind of was hoping like, oh, I can just launch this thing and it would cover everything, but it just didn't. And I had to really let go and surrender. And something magical happened, you guys. I'm open to miracles. I'll do what it takes. I'll say this to God, because like whenever I get in my ego and I think I should be further ahead, or I should be making more money, or I should have like better or whatever, I face a big challenge, I will say to God, I'm like, myself, I am willing to do what it takes. I'm willing to go to a job if I have to. I always said that. I'm like, I'm never going to be proud about this journey. If I ever have to go back to a day job for whatever reason, if I fail or, work out, I never put that pressure on myself. And I said, God, universe, like, please take care of me. I need a break. I need you to hold me. I need you to provide for me. And it was the craziest thing. My accountant wrote to me and said, that getting a huge tax refund, and then I got approved for huge funding for small business working capital, which is like money up front and then you can pay it off over time, which really helps because it helps with cash flows. Because for entrepreneurs and small business owners, as you grow, like your flows can be very lumpy and your bills might stay the same, but some months are amazing and some months might be slower. So sometimes working capital can bridge that gap. And then I sold a bunch of stuff as well, and then I got a new client. But I think the lesson for me is don't expect it from one place, whether it's an art sale or a certain course you're launching or a product. It can come from anywhere. It can come in a government refund. It can come in as a gift. It can come from a family member. It could come as a huge sale, unexpected contract. So keep your mind open and don't obsess over one type of way that you can receive support. Well, guys, I hope that this was a nice update for you and it encourages you to rest, listen to yourself, and give yourself some space to explore your creativity and ideas. Because sometimes the next best thing is just around the corner, but we just need to make a little room for it, to listen, to write down the ideas, to get really inspired and get that spark back. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you like and subscribe and share this with a friend if you find it encouraging. I'll see you in the next video.